3 young girls decided to room together in one of the 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes.
Okay.
And those 3 women were 26-year-old Leslie Ann Mazzara, 26-year-old Adrienne Insana, and their friend Lauren. Halloween rolled around. It's October 31st, 2004, and everyone in the girls' lives have different plans for the night. The air was kind of anxious. So because of this, Lauren, Adrienne, and Leslie, the 3 roommates, decided to just stay home that night and hand out candy to the neighborhood trick-or-treaters. They decided to put out some jack-o'-lanterns and even made specially prepared treat bags for their kids.
Oh my gosh.
So neighbors and parents actually remember the fun atmosphere from the girls' home that night. Everything was happy. Everyone was having fun. The kids really loved the special bags. Eventually, though, the knocks became less and less as the late hours of Halloween approached. And the 3 roommates, Lauren, Adrienne, and Leslie, decided to just call it a night. So it's now past midnight on Halloween, and it's dark up and down the roommate's street. This was a family neighborhood, and everyone has turned in. But it was sometime between 1:30 and 2 a.m. that Lauren was woken up in her downstairs bedroom by a motion sensor security light tripping behind their garage. And as Lauren came to, she also heard the faint sound of her dog, Chloe, a golden Labrador retriever, growling. Now, this would have been extra creepy to me. First, this light goes on, and now your dog that's sleeping in your room is growling. But when you have roommates, it's hard to immediately jump to worst case scenario. Adrienne had a lot of cats who sometimes would trip the sensors. So when her dog let out like a warning low bark, Lauren quieted her down, comforting her, and lays back down. She's like, "Dog, Chloe, listen, sweetie, nothing is going on. We're going to go back to sleep. It's probably just one of your enemies, the cat, right?"
Okay,
Lauren began drifting back to sleep when just minutes later, she heard someone enter the house and begin climbing up the girls' staircase to the 2nd floor. Lauren came to her senses and began shaking her head. "Oh no," she thought. "Leslie's little boyfriend has come over again, and it's about to be another night of the listening in on their lovemaking." Lauren then laid back down once again, closed her eyes, and tried to relax. But no one was expecting what would wake up Lauren next. Just a bit later, her eyes snapped open, her body completely frozen with fear. She woke up to the sound of blood-curdling screams coming from upstairs. She could hear Adrienne screaming over and over, "Please help, please help me."
Oh, Matt, that's...
So as Lauren opened her bedroom door to run up the stairs and help, when all of a sudden the intruder begins running through the upstairs hall and bounding down the stairs. Now her bedroom is downstairs. Lauren makes a split-second dash to the kitchen, running through the kitchen and out to the backyard. But it was only once she got out of the door and into the yard that she realized she had picked the wrong way to run in her fear. She was now stuck in the backyard surrounded by a 6-foot fence with no way out.
Oh, you jumped that thing.
Lauren decided to leap behind whatever was near her to hide. She's like, "Since I can't make it over the fence, I'm just going to hide." Lauren stood up out of her hiding spot and made her way back inside the home to help her friend. She ran into the kitchen and reached for the phone to call 911, but the line was dead. She could not get the call to go through no matter how frantically she tried.
Oh no, grab a knife.
Once she opened her friend's bedroom door, quote, "The entire bedroom floor was covered in blood.
Oh.
A few feet away, Adrienne was crouched behind her bed, alive, but no longer able to speak and rapidly bleeding to death from multiple wounds."
Holy crap.
So she called 911 from the cell phone and talked to the operator until the line went dead too. They're on the way, but she just keeps getting disconnected. Lauren decides to run out front and get into her car. She grabs Chloe, her dog, first, locks herself in the car, and begins driving away from the house, all while calling 911 again. Police make their way up to the bedroom, and the reality of what had happened that night was gruesome and disturbing. A traumatized and distressed Lauren is interviewed and then sent to stay with relatives as the entire neighborhood lays in shock. The most popular lead police found had to do with Leslie Mazzara's old boyfriend, whose father, William Lee Youngblood Sr., was reportedly obsessed with her and her beauty. But both William and his father were apparently in South Carolina, where they're from, at the time of the murder, and both were later cleared by the DNA evidence. So in September of 2005, 11 months after the murder, Police decide that these cigarettes are the only major lead they have to find someone to compare against the DNA. They decide to go public with this information. One person came forward not with information, but with a confession.
No, there's no way.
One man came forward and turned himself in for the murders of Leslie and Adrian after this announcement.
Okay.
And that man was Lily's now husband, Eric Caudill. Eric Caudill turned himself in, shocking his wife, Lily, claiming he was the murderer and that the DNA in the case would surely match him.
So before we go forward, did Lily's boyfriend have like a good relationship with the girls at all? Like a close relationship, or was it just kind of like an acquaintance level?
Yeah. So basically what happened is Lauren and Adrian move into this apartment and Adrian gets this new job. At this new job, she meets Lily. Now, Lily is engaged to Eric.
Yes.
Now, because Adrian and Lily start becoming friends, I mean, they're going to the gym together, they're spending all their time at work together, they begin hanging out. Casually, Lily brings her fiance, Eric, over. There was no close connection. Eric had only been in the house once. He was more an acquaintance of the roommates. Lily was more the friend of the roommate.
Okay.
So it really doesn't make, where's the motive here? So just days after police released the information on September 28th, 2005, Eric Koppel is arrested and held without bail. When police asked him why he came in, he said he was suicidal. And when he told his family, they encouraged him to turn himself in instead of taking his own life. So police claimed he provided enough detail to prove he was the killer. He was saying things that only the killer would have known. Police send Eric's DNA to the lab to be tested, and they begin informing the victim's family about the arrest. Eric Koppel is charged by the Napa County DA's office with 2 counts of murder when the DNA evidence comes back to be his. A whole year later, on December 5th, 2006, Eric pleads guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances of lying in wait, using a knife, and committing a crime involving multiple victims as part of a plea agreement with the state. So the victim's family at this hearing spoke about the impact the murder had on them, and then Eric spoke himself. This always happens at sentencing hearings. He claimed that he suffers from depression and he has been his whole life. He said he came from a broken home and deeply regrets his actions. He claims he still has no explanation for his actions other than the fact that his relationship with Lily was in jeopardy. She just called off their wedding and he was angry and full of rage. Lauren is still alive, but like I said, based on the research I found, we're not going to dig into her, share her last name or anything like that because she did survive the crime. She's a survivor and I don't want to invade her privacy as the living victim. But that is the case of Leslie Ann Mazzara and Adrian Asana, who were murdered on Halloween night.